In a case shrouded in mystery, every clue deepens the investigation's complexity.
Around themselves, and
Yep.
you've got to be pretty sure. So it's always a better.
And guys, I really truly think that police are panicking at this point. Law enforcement is panicking because we all caught wind of a lead that they probably did not want to get out there at all. All right. If that's the case, and Annie and Tommasa have something to do with it, which remember, they were allegedly the last people to see her alive and drop her off. Their time frame isn't mathing. Okay. And FBI is back at Annie's house searching. Okay. There's only a few things that could mean. I would never go into my neighbor's house. You never know if they have an underground basement. Can Silence of the Lambs. Oh my goodness, you're crazy. Welcome in. Hit that like button.
Course of action to just be conservative with the information that you give out. I think that the sheriff means well, but there's been a lot of information that's slightly contradictory, and it makes a lot of people feel like they're on a roller coaster. So we don't really want that. But more importantly, or most importantly, we want what's best for the investigation. And I think what's best for the investigation is to just, you can speculate if you want, but let's keep it all above board.
And again, you guys, I absolutely believe it's panic mode at this time. People caught wind too early. That's never a good thing in an investigation for law enforcement. And now they've got FBI involved. You'll see what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. The other thing, and this just comes to mind because it's current for me. I've been going through, they've released all the Brian Koberger police reports from early on, like the first month after the murders. And one big part of those reports is like all these different suspects that they had and people that they really thought may have done it. And like people they were doing lie detectors on and doing DNA tests. And so it just makes me think like, even if they think they know who it is today, that could change tomorrow, right?
Well, it goes back to what Jeff and I were saying yesterday, which is all these leads have to be, or tips.
Guys, I have to say, we watched that heartfelt, the ransom note. I don't think that they really believe that ransom note is going to bring their mom home. I think it's something they have to do. I mean, you really have to do that. If you got a ransom note that's talking about Bitcoins, you got to bring those experts in and you got to address the public. I'm not so sure that they were even convinced of it, but they were doing what they needed to do. We've seen it. Yes, Barbara, we've seen it time and time, and I'll go on time and time again. And anything's possible right now. Everything is possible. You're right.
Have to be run to ground, whether or not you believe the person is good for it or not good for it. You can't leave that stone unturned, because you have to be able to say to the court that we exhausted all of our other resources and this is the person that we believe firmly, and these are the reasons why. Because the defense is inevitably going to come up with, hey, you didn't look at Joe Schmo and he was right there and people knew it and there's a photo of him right there. Yes, we did look at Joe Schmo and here's what we came up with. These are the reports. We actually, it's very important to do that kind of stuff.
Speaking of the ransom letters, we talked about this yesterday. There was one that was sent to TMZ, and there was one that was sent to a local TV station here in Tucson.
Okay, let's talk about that so we can see what she has to say about that. We're talking about 4 days now. She's been missing. There's no foul in the air swarming around. She's somewhere, and those three know who's got her. Interesting. Let's hear what this. It's either between her or Jennifer Coffendorfer, but we're gonna watch this.
And the sheriff has now said that that was yesterday that we learned about these. So that would have been on Tuesday. The sheriff has now said on Monday night. So we didn't even know that they knew about these ransom letters, but they knew about at least one of them Monday night. And the sheriff says that he showed Savannah Guthrie, Nancy's daughter, that letter on Monday night to see, I guess, what she thought of it. Hasn't legitimized the letter, but said that he did go and show Savannah. Why do you think he would have done that?
Well, he wanted her to see the description of her mom and what she was wearing. And also sometimes you want to look at the verbiage that's being used and the phrasing, and it's the way someone speaks is the way they write. He was probably gleaning, he and his investigators were probably gleaning as much as they could. Like, does this sound familiar? Is this in fact what she was wearing? Do you recognize any of this, any of these phrases? Maybe there were some colloquialisms in there, who knows? So he wanted to get a firsthand, it's always important to get a firsthand physical look at this to see if anything comes, top of mind to her for about.
Well, guys, especially with her, we're thinking, since we know that Savannah Guthrie is worth $40 million, you can Google it. and she's worth $40 million, that she would be that. There's no person at this time that's named as a suspect. However, in several articles, they say that sources say, and it all started, guys, all of it started from Ashley, okay, Ashley Banfield. Every single person that is running with that, every single news outlet, every single article references Ashley Banfield, saying that her law enforcement source told her that the husband is a suspect. However, the husband isn't going to get an inheritance or money. So who would? Annie would. All right. Again, it's all speculation, and I'm praying for the mom that she is absolutely alive, like law enforcement says. However, it concerns me when I read this article that says law enforcement says, don't worry, there's no danger. How could these people not worry about, how can they worry about being no danger if we still have a suspect out there? We don't know who it is. That doesn't make sense. They're giving us mixed signals here, but it's not really mixed, because when you're in true crime, you understand what they're saying, guys. Come on. All right, let's continue.
Who may have written it or authored it.
Do you think it means, though, that it may be legit?
It's just part of the process of going through things to check them off the list to see if it's legitimate.
Amen. It's just part of the process. That's it.
You have to find out if that description of what she was wearing was in fact correct. I mean, there are certain steps you just have to take, whether or not you want to, whether or not you think they're right. I mean, there are just processes in place that make sense, that are tried and true in law enforcement.
Does the FBI you always hear, like in the movies, that they always say don't pay the ransom. Is that true?
No.
Is that like no?
No. I mean,
she's all no. Hey, you know what? I mean, who cares? Go back and go back and pay it. What's $2 million when you're worth 40 million? It's not going to happen. Heart stroke if her pacemaker stopped syncing with her Apple Watch. And I don't believe she's still alive. I just want to have the hope. It's been 4 days. Law enforcement is saying that they think she's still alive. They're making it urgent. They've gone back to her house, made it a crime scene again, and they're at the daughter's house, which lives 10 miles away. Something big's going to come. Yeah, FBI, there you go. FBI does pay ransoms all the time, and then they follow the money, right? $500. Now, the ransom was $2 million in Bitcoin, but they were offering $2,500 for finding a missing person, which was odd.
There are times they paid the ransom, but there are times let's just reverse engineer it. You always want a hostage negotiator there. You always want the behavior or the profilers there, because the profilers will know how to either poke the bear or push the offender in a different direction. Like if the offender is getting agitated, they can talk them down. So can a really good negotiator.
Right. And also, I want to show you guys something. This came out right now, and it's weird. I just don't like how they frame it. Look at this. So on Facebook, they've got all these groups, and now, what we saw is coming out as breaking news, right? Savannah Guthrie and siblings send tearful video plea to potential abductor. Why is she smiling in this picture? This one looks like she's been crying and haggard all day. He's been the whole time just like, okay, I'm here. I got to represent. I just don't like that. I don't know if they put this picture to portray something. Look at the sister. Savannah's distraught from all this, and the other sister is smiling her ass off. Tell me she ain't got nothing to do with it, or she looks like it. Looks like the one with Savannah is grinning, right? And it could just be just a bad shot. And then over here says, we're ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated, which I also think is weird. Who said that, or why is she thinking that? We need to know without a doubt, and we should, that she's alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we're ready to listen. All right. So were they not ready to listen before? What happened? No, we already watched this. We did watch this. I was just showing you what that was. So yeah, we watched it twice, but they caught that picture of her smiling, and I'm like, wow, she either got really unlucky or That's just, they captured a perfect moment.
But they'll say, hey, if you're trying to get this offender to come out, you know, like there are
Exactly.
instances where the profilers will say, call him stupid, make fun of him, because he's going to try to prove to you that he's not stupid, that he is strong, that he is, if you emasculate this person, you know, he's going to come out and try to prove that he's masculine, or things along those lines. They're very, very skilled at that. So pay the ransom, I don't know. I would, you know, we don't do it often, but we have done it. And I'm sure there are successful cases, and I'm sure there are unsuccessful cases. I would say the victimology and getting to know the offender would probably be.
Now I got to go back on this again. And again, this is all, everything is speculation. Brian Enton speculating to this lady. This lady's either FBI or ex-FBI. She's speculating and telling us what's going on, why negotiators need to come in. But I just want to go back a second for, okay, thank you. And Carly, since you're here, if you can add a wrench to Mama Pearl, if you see my mom in chat, you can add a wrench. I want to show you something on the Instagram real quick. And I want to show you this because it's just odd to me again. Okay, so Instagram, this was what I was sent earlier. I couldn't find it. I kept hitting different walls with it because of everything being sent. However, this got 884,000 hearts and 93,000 likes. She asks to please pray